This brand with 3-rate duel is going to come at you guys with another deck profile, so it's going to be another Shaddoll deck. Apologize, we're going to be doing, after this one, 2 more Shaddoll deck profiles for you guys. Gary and I really like Shaddolls, so we got several different variants that we're going to go ahead and push out. Let us know what you guys think is your favorite out of the ones that we're putting out there for you guys. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So 2 Beast draws a card. 2 Squamata sends any Shaddoll card, so that includes El Shaddoll Fusion and Core. So there's actually some really cool interactions with Construct and Squamata. If you need to add back an El Shaddoll Fusion, you can send El Shaddoll off the Chainlink 2 and then Core off the Chainlink 1, then add the El Shaddoll back, try and push your game. Hedgehog searches, Falco sets itself or sets a Shaddoll, and then 1 Dragon. So it's 9 Shaddoll monsters. The reason that I'm only playing 1 Dragon is because Dragon is the worst main deck Shaddoll monster in my opinion. All the other ones do something for you. As to where Dragon, it's only really in there because if you need to, you can send it off Mathematician to pop like a Floodgate, like Anti-Spell or Necro Valley. But other than that, it's like the worst one to open because it doesn't do anything for you to further your game state. And then 2 Mathematician. There's a lot of 2-ofs in this deck because it's 3 engines combined into 1. And the reason I want to play Mathematician is because at worst, I can send Eclipse Wyvern off it, and it is always a Shaddoll card. So if you don't open a Shaddoll monster and you need to, no matter what, like even if you're under Colossus, you just send Falco, Falco will set itself, and now you've got a Shaddoll monster on the field to make Shaddoll plays. So that's why Mathematician's really, really good in my opinion in Shadolls. And then 2 Alistair, the Invoker. So I'm playing a small Invoked engine in here, and the reason being is because there's a lot of really cool interactions with Shaddoll Fusion and Invocation, and also with the Chaos engine, because there's 2 different 2-card OTKs in this variant, and this comes in handy in one of them. So the fact that I can banish Eclipse Wyvern off the Invocation is really, really good. And then I know I'm going to get some backlash for this, but I am main decking 2 Danko Sekka. In this particular build, you don't need your normal summon as much as you might need in like the Mech Knight variant. So being able to like normal summon Danko and then just OTK the opponent after that is super good. And so it's really good against Altergeist, obviously. It's good against like Striker. If I open Shaddoll Fusion and Danko Sekka, I'm probably going to OTK Striker. And then it's also decent against Prank Kids and any other deck that sets back row. So that's why I opted to main deck the Danko, and at worst, Danko's a light target for Construct. And then we are playing 2 of the White Dragon and 2 of the Black Dragon. So the reason, I know in like older Chaos variants, people opted for like 3 of this and 1 of this. The reason I go for 2 and 2 is because opening White Dragon in Shaddoll Fusion, if your opponent has an extra deck monster, is no longer a 2-card OTK. Now you have to open Black Dragon in Shaddoll Fusion because you can't just normal summon, because of Master Rule 4, you can't just, sync 6 into a level 6 synchro and then search the Black Dragon and keep going. So you still have to play at least 2 of this because it's a light target for Construct, and then 2 of the Black Dragon because if your opponent goes into an extra deck monster, it's a 2-card OTK. And then 2 Black Luster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. I do not have a 3rd. So as soon as I get a 3rd, I'm going to be putting the 3rd one in. I'll either take out the Shaddoll Core, or I'll just put it in to make it a solid 41-card deck. I like 41-card decks. But 2 Black Luster Soldier, this card is just super good. And then finally, for the Chaos Engine, is 1 Eclipse Wyvern and 1 Dad. So with just the Chaos Dragons and with Invocation, it is super easy to manipulate your graveyard, and so this will almost always be live. And if you send this off Shaddoll Fusion, you can just banish it off of Invocation to add Dad back to your hand, then special summon Dad, and then go ham. Like, you're gonna go ham sandwich in this deck. It is very, very aggressive. So this is super good in my opinion. Just all the interactions that the Chaos Engine has with Invocation is really good. And then to round off monsters is 2 Effect Veiler. So the reason I opted for Effect Veiler is because the options were, I wanted to main deck a hand trap that was still relevant against the meta and was a light target. So like my 2 options were Ghost Ogre and Effect Veiler, and I feel like Veiler is the better out of those 2 choices at the moment just because people can chain block Ogre. And that's it for the main deck. That's it for the monsters, I apologize. It's actually a really low spell count, so we're going to start with triple Shaddoll Fusion, cards busted, triple El Shaddoll Fusion, and then double Invocation. So I'm only playing 2 Invocation because Invocation kind of sucks because you only fusion summon from your hand if you want to fusion summon Construct or Winda, but it's still really good with the Chaos Engine to manipulate the graveyard, and it's really, really cool. And the interactions you have with Dad and Alistair with Invocation is really cool, because if you like have a fusion monster on the field, you can just dump the Alistair to pump it, summon Dad, banish the Alistair from Dad, and then add it back to hand, because add the Alistair back to hand off Invocation, and then dump the Alistair again. So then your fusion monster you pumped up twice, and you get 2 pops for Dad off of that alone. And then Invocation and Shaddolls fusion complement each other very well in this build, because whatever light target you send off as Shaddolls fusion to make Construct, after you link it to new Alistair, you just banish it from the graveyard with Invocation, which is really good. And so if you can send Eclipse Wyvern, you just banish it from graveyard, summon Makaba, and then you're adding Dad back to hand and special summoning Dad. It's really, really good. And then the last fusion spell we're playing is 1 Super Poly. I opted for Super Poly because it is a monster removal, and this card is really good. I mean, Shaddolls are the reason Super Poly got banned, so why not play it now that it's at 1? And then 2 Meltdown, because to search Alistair, and this also protects Shaddolls Fusion from getting ashed. And even though you don't have to send from deck with Shaddolls Fusion, or even if you're not even attempting to send from deck with Shaddolls Fusion, they can still ash it, so this protects your Shaddolls Fusion. 2 Terraforming to search out the Meltdown, and then the 1 Foolish Burial, best Shaddolls monster in the deck, and also the fact you can send Eclipse Wyvern off of Foolish Burial to try and get the Chaos Blaze going is super good. And then for the main deck, the last card's 1 Shaddolls Core. The reason Core is in here is because I do play 3 of the other attribute Shaddolls monsters, and so it allows me access to those, and also the fact that, as I said earlier, you can Construct Squamata, send El Shaddolls and Core to add El Shaddolls back to your hand to kind of push for game. And then we'll get on to the extra deck. So 1 Construct, obviously. Bay is back, so you got to play 1 of her. Construct is used to just start a lot of your plays in this particular build because of the Chaos Engine. When Construct goes to 2, this particular build will be a lot better, because then you can El Shaddolls out of the Makaba into a Construct and then push for game even faster. And then 2 Winda. At first I had 3 Winda, but in testing, I actually found that I wanted the 3rd Makaba in the grind game more than I wanted the 3rd Winda, so I cut Winda down to 2. And then here's where I'm going to get some hate. 1 Wendigo and 1 Anoyatilis. So the reason for the Wendigo is in case you play against Prank Kids and they have Battle Butler, or if you play against Altergeist and they have Squeedos or whatever the wind type was on field. Because then you just Super Poly out of it and make Wendigo, and you successfully interrupted their plays, and it's a Psychic type, so that way you can start link plays into new Alistair. So that is why I opted to do this. And then Anoyatilis is for Necroz. Shaddolls have notoriously have a hard matchup against Necroz, so being able to Super Poly into Anoyatilis and just shut down Necroz from playing the game is really good. And then triple Mechaba. As I said, at first I was playing with 2, but in testing I found that I wanted the 3rd Mechaba more than I wanted the 3rd Winda, so I bumped it up to 3. And then 1 Shekanaga. And for mine and Gary's super spicy tech, 1 of this guy, because we're main decking Super Poly, and Thunder Dragon, depending on the hand composition, can be kind of a hard out. Like if I can be super aggressive and get 4 or 5 pops off the Dad, then I can probably out the Thunder Dragon board. But if I open Super Poly, I can just, if they multiple Colossus or Colossus Titan me, I'll just Super Poly make this, and then try and link in a new Alistair afterwards. That's the idea behind it. And then 1 Arcanite Magician, so that way you can pop 2 cards and then make Construct. It's a light target. And then for the links, 2 new Alistair. The card's super busted. His discard effect to search Invocation is not cost, so you will get your Shaddolls effects off of it, which is really, really good. At the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and showcase the 2 different 2-card OTKs, and then both times, like, Alistair's really good in those instances. Excuse me. 1 land for Linkus. Again, if you only have 2 darks on the field, you just, link in the land for Linkus, and it's a light target for Construct. It's really good in this build. And then 1 Castell for Thunder Dragon matchup or hard to out Floodgates. That was the idea behind it. This card could potentially come out for something better, like maybe a Borreload or a Boral Sword, but for now it's Castell. And that's it for the extra deck. For the side, I side the third Danko Sekka. You kind of have a hard matchup against back row decks like Ultrageist. So just being able to summon Danko Sekka, then Shaddoll Fusion into Winda is really good, because like Winda's okay against Ultrageist because then they can't, like when they try to resolve Multifigure, they can't summon the Sequitos because the Multifigure is their one special summon. And so having the third Danko is good. 2 Pankratops. If I had 3, I would side 3 of it. Right now I only have 2, so forgive me, YouTube. And then the Spice here. 3 Secret Village. This card's super good against Prank Kids, super good against Striker. Like this card in Winda just shuts Striker down, they can't beat you. 2 Mind Control for the Thunder Dragon matchup or any like annoying rogue. 2 Chalice. I had to have a little bit more effect negation in there, other than like Valor, and I don't have Ashes, Gary does. So Chalice, and it's also good against Thunder Dragon matchup. And then we did side kind of heavily for the Thunder Dragon matchup. Triple D barrier. If you go first against Thunder Dragon, normally if you can like chain Shaddoll Fusion and do a Winda or end turn 1 on a Winda, they kind of have a hard time getting around it because they need more than one special summon to further their plays. But D barrier is just to secure that game 1 a little more if you can't play Winda, or like Winda and this, they really can't play the game. And then 2 red reboot. Again, Ultrageist back row decks. So the idea is to just red reboot them and then OTK, which you can do very easily. And then that's it for the main and side. So I'll go ahead and showcase the 2 card OTKs for this particular build. So for both of them, the opponent has to have an extra deck monster, so Shaddoll Fusion is live. So the first one is Shaddoll Fusion and Alistair, or any way to get to Alistair, but you have to hard draw Shaddoll Fusion. So we'll just say the 3 cards are blank. So these 3 cards don't matter. So they have an extra deck monster, so you're going to activate Shaddoll Fusion. Activate Shaddoll Fusion. Send Wyvern. Send Squamata. 2 special summon Construct. So, always make Construct Chainlink 1 or Chainlink 2 if you can, so that way they can't Ogre it or they can't Ash it. So in this particular instance, Wyvern has to be Chainlink 1 because it's a mandatory effect. So Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3 will be Squamata. Off Squamata, I will send Beast. And off Construct, I will send Hedgehog. And then off of the Wyvern, banish Dad. So we'll put Dad right here. Now establish the chain links. I always make Beast Chainlink 1 and Hedgehog Chainlink 2 because I want the draw more than the search. So we're going to search Falco. And this is really important. I choose Falco because you'll see where it comes up when you link into new Alistair. You can discard the Falco and set it, and it's pretty darn good. And then you will draw a blank card off of the Beast. So right now we have 6 cards in hand and a Construct on the field. So now you will normal summon Alistair and search Invocation. Link these 2 away to special summon new Alistair. Activate Construct's effect. Add your Shaddoll Fusion back to hand. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. Activate Invocation. You're going to banish your Invoker, your Alistair, and you're going to banish your Eclipse Wyvern to special summon Makaba. Now here's where things get interesting, boys and girls. So Wyvern has to be Chainlink 1 because it's a mandatory effect, so then he becomes Chainlink 2. You're going to discard your Falco to search your other invocation. And then Wyvern will add back Dad. Now Falco will resolve, and you're going to set Falco. I tend to put him underneath the Alistair so that way I know I don't take up my extra zone. And then now, you've got exactly 3 Darks in Graveyard. Special summon Dad. Now at this point, you're going to activate your second invocation, and here's where you're going to cry a little bit, because you got to banish your Construct. I always banish Construct, and I always banish Hedgehog. The reason I banished the Hedgehog is because I have Shaddoll Fusion already in hand. So that way, for some reason, if for some reason I can't kill them this turn and I have to flip the Falco, I can set Beast or Squamana off of it. But anyways, you banish those to special summon your second Makaba. And that's it. And this is your board after doing so. So, that's the first OTK. I kind of messed up a little bit. After the first invocation, I could have added this back to hand, added that back to deck, and then added this back to hand, and then this would have been engraved, and I could have searched invocation again, but it kind of didn't matter, so I misplayed a little bit on that. But that's the first OTK, and as I was saying earlier in the video, all the neat interactions with Invocation and Wyvern in the Chaos build is really interesting. Now, for the second 2-card OTK, you need to open Shaddoll Fusion, and they have to control an extra deck monster again. And Black Dragon. So your other 3 cards are blank. So we'll just shuffle this real quick, since it doesn't really matter, because I've already got it mixed up. So these 3 cards are blank. So, previously, they have to have an extra deck monster for this to work as well. So you're going to activate your Shaddoll Fusion. You're going to send Squamata and Wyvern. Special Summon Construct. Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, Chain Link 3. You're going to send Beast. Send Hedgehog. And banish Dad. Alright, then now Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. Add Falco. And then you're going to draw again off Beast. Now, you don't always add Falco off the Hedgehog in this particular one. So this one depends on your hand composition and what you add off of the Hedgehog. So in this particular one, if you have a monster you can normal summon, then you add the Falco. If you have a monster that you can't normal summon, then you add any Shaddoll monster that can be normal summoned other than Falco or Hedgehog, because Hedgehog can't search itself. So Beast, Dragon, or Squamata. And so we'll go for Squamata in this one. Alright. So this is your hand right now. This is your grave. You will banish Wyvern to special summon Clap Serpent. Wyvern will add back Dad. Special summon Dad. And then normal summon your Squamata. So this is a little bit simpler of the 2 OTKs, but this is enough damage to push for game. What you could do if you really wanted to is, after your Dad pops, you can always add Beast instead of Squamata off of Hedgehog if you want to, then tribute the Black Dragon for the White Dragon, and then special summon White Dragon, and then it's a little bit more damage if you need it, but for just straight game, this will do it. So that's it for the 2-card OTKs. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of my Chaos Shaddoll build, and that'll be it. Later, YouTube.